world needs you right now. My world needs you right now. I can't escape being afraid. Fill me with you right now. My world needs you right now. Show me your face. Fill up this space. My world needs you right now. My world needs you right now. I can't escape being afraid. Fill me with you right now. My world needs you right now. Powerful down, bring with it a sound that points us to you right now. Erase substitutes right now. Fix what I see, and God, please fix me. Let us see you right. My world needs you right now. Show me your face. Oh, fill up this space. My world needs you right now. My world needs you right now. That's why I'm not ashamed to say. Okay, I've never done this before. I hate cameras, especially being in front of them. So I don't know if I'm even doing this right. I tried to look at a YouTube video and get the instructions. So I see that my screen says live, so I'm taking it that I am live. If someone is there, can you please send me a message to let me know if I'm doing this right or not? Okay, so I still don't know. I am going to niece, I know you're watching. If I'm doing this correct, can you please call me and let me know if I'm doing this correct or not? I would really appreciate it because I have no idea what I'm looking at. I'm going to make a phone call to double check, just to see if I have this right. I'm sorry. It's like people say, you know, you have that shout out. I think that's what they call it on that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I'm going to make a shout out to see if I'm doing this correct. Okay, maybe I have to make another shout out because I don't think I'm getting an answer here. What is this? Oh, let me see something. Oh, no. Okay. I see a 3, but I don't know what that means. So at any rate, let me make one more shout out because I don't understand what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that I do this correctly. And just so you know, if I am doing it correctly, um, the reason I came on is because um, I want to touch on a couple of things, mainly this whole ideology behind mental illness and where they have decided that they will be really focusing on those with mental illnesses um, in our communities. And I just want to touch on that a little bit more. But before I actually start, I wanted to try and make sure that I am doing this correctly. So I'm going to make one more phone shout out and see if I can get someone on the phone to confirm this for me. And if you have not had the opportunity, or if you have no idea what I'm speaking of, look at the video that's on my page that was posted by the news. Hey, good morning. Can you do me a favor? I went live and I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. Can you share with me? Can you go on and share with me if this is correct? Oh, I just got a message. Okay. Okay, so I am, so, oh gosh, okay. Never mind. Let me get off the phone because apparently I am live right now. All right, thanks, love. All right, bye-bye. Okay, that was Clifford. Clifford, thank you so much. I'm glad that you actually had a number to reach me at. Um, because I can't see messages or anything like that in front of me. So you guys, if someone's able to educate me, because like I said, this is my first time in how I am able to see messages from you guys, then I would be glad to pull your messages up. But at any rate, ever since I saw the news clipping in regards to the Walmart shootings and the lieutenant from El Dorado going in front of Mr. Lieutenant Christopher Lutman, going on the news and the media and sharing with everyone um, that we should be cautiously aware of those with mental illnesses. And he made a couple of statements in regards to those with mental illnesses sharing with you exactly what's on their mind and their intentions. What I want to point out to you, what's a concern to me is I actually went and I looked at a couple of the videos, actual several videos in regards to the El Paso shooting, the Ohio shootings, and during those videos, I noticed some differences. And first of all, I do want to say lo siento to las familias in El Paso, Texas, y Ohio. Moving forward, um, what was described in the news clipping. And I'm gonna read you something. I'm gonna read you something from our wonderful, wonderful president. And yes, I do say that facetiously. But I'm gonna read you something from our wonderful president. And the reason I'm gonna read it is because this is the first real thing that I think that he has said of my knowing. So I am going to share that with you. What he said was, the media has a big responsibility to life, safety in our country. Fake news, listen to me. Fake news has contributed greatly to the anger and rage that has built up over many years. News coverage has got to start being fair, balanced, and unbiased, or these terrible problems will only get worse. This is good stuff right here. This is truly, truly good stuff. I'm going to read it again for you. The media has a big responsibility to life and safety in our country. And this is not only in our country, in our communities. In our communities as well. The media affects what goes on in our communities. And it continues to say fake news. Fake news. That means that what you hear in the media, you cannot always listen to it. You cannot always think that it is unbiased and that is healthy for the community. So you have to do your own homework. You have to go and you have to ask questions. You have to go and you have to, excuse my wonderful phone, you have to go ask questions, get yourself involved, and find out exactly what's going on in the community versus looking at your media. Because first of all, I am a witness, especially within the past couple of years of being back in Arkansas. I am a witness that when it comes to the media cuts and they paste what they want to be heard. So what the truth may be may not be posted in the media. And the only way you're going to find out is if you take your wonderful self and you do some homework for yourself. It's just like, it's just like that Bible, in order to know what's in it, you got to open it up. And we're not going to make this a spiritual thing, because I know everybody don't do the spiritual thing. But at this moment, this is what this is about. But we're going to read this again, and I may even read it again a little bit later. It says again, and this is Trump words, the media has a big responsibility to life and safety in our country. Fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news has contributed greatly to the anger and rage that has built up over many years. News coverage has got to start being fair. News coverage has got to start being fair, balanced, and unbiased, or these terrible problems will only get worse. Well, what is fair? What is unbalanced? What do you mean? Examples of that is, first of all, if you have a killing that is going on with one race, and I don't want to make this a race thing because I'm not a racist person. Sorry, I'm not a racist person. But if you have a killing that's going on with one race and you'll take that killing and you'll put that, and not even a race, let's say this, if you have a killing that goes on or a murder that goes on and you go and you advertise through different phone medias or through crime, different Crime Stopper websites or whatever, and you try and find out the location of these individuals and you try and find out the whereabouts of these individuals and you do all this detailed work to try and resolve this case, then you should put just that much effort into the very next case, because every human life is equal. There is no human life that is greater worth value than the next. So that's what I mean by the unbalance of the media, or the media taking and picking what maybe law enforcement says and put it in the media. But in regards to the victims or the people that are actually going through, and maybe the people that are possibly being prosecuted for wrongdoings, when they go and they talk to the media, you cut that and you don't put it in there. That's when you start to, we have to minimize the words that we say in order to, be able to put it in the media. That's when you want to start to, minimize it, control the use of words. That is unfair, unbiased in the media. Picking and choosing what you're going to place in the media. If it is a problem in the community, regardless of what it is, if it is a problem in the community and you're talking about problems in the community, then it also needs to be addressed, whether it is misconduct from police officers, whether it is issues within the neighborhoods, you know, as far as robberies or what have you, whether it's that it's misconduct with, I don't care, attorneys. It needs to go in the media. That's what you're for, right? You're reporting news. And don't get me wrong, everything in the media doesn't have to be a sad song. You can have some positive things to put in the media. All I'm saying is when you decide to do media, then you should do it correctly. And you should not go to the media and not do your homework. The people who are printing what's being in the media. I have a post right now from the media, El Dorado News Time, yes. And whoever communicated to you in regards to what you posted in that newspaper article, they either intentionally stirred you in the wrong direction or you intentionally printed what you wanted to print, being, you know, in agreement with them that you would misprint something in the El Dorado News Time to communicate to the community the wrong facts and the wrong information. That is not okay. You're supposed to, if you're going to be the media, you're supposed to be the voice of the community. You're supposed to be the voice of the city. You're supposed to be the voice for everyone, not a selective few. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let's get back onto topic. Okay, so we opened up with wonderful Trump and his wonderful quote, and I appreciate you, Trump, greatly for that. I mean, you're absolutely right. The media has been fake. The media is unbalanced. The media is have been unfair, and they are causing some upset in the community, because when people are going through their challenges and they're going through their situations and they're trying to, you know, get justice, and they can't even get a voice out there because you're stopping it before it even gets started, it does create a rage. It does create an upset. And it is very disappointing, because you don't know these people. You don't know their families. You don't know their struggles. And when they do decide to put one foot in front of the other to do something about it, and they come to you, which is the proper thing to do, and you decide to cheat them on the opportunity of getting justice, yes, that is an upset. Yes, it is creating a disappointment, because they're actually taking the necessary steps, the proper steps to do it the right way. And you turn around and you wrong them. And so they feel like they have to try and take justice in their own hands. This creates a dysfunction within the community, because the media is a dysfunction within itself. You guys, the reason I got on here this morning was because after I looked at the Walmart posting in regards to the shootings, and I do apologize for the individuals that have been threatened in regards to the Walmart shootings, and I have extended my condolences to the families of El Paso, Texas, for those of you that are late coming in, as well as Ohio. But they have put a sharp eye out on those with mental illnesses, saying that, you know, that you need to be aware of these individuals, and saying that these individuals will tell you what their intentions are. Well, I went back and I looked at the videos in regards to El Paso, and I went back and I looked at the videos in regards to Ohio, and I just want to share something with you. I'm sorry, but they don't fit. They don't fit, because if you look at those videos communicate to you clearly, even after it was all said and done, and you go and you talk to some of their friends and loved ones, they had no clue. These people never said anything to them. And you're right, you know, people with mental illness, they will talk to you. They will tell you what's on their minds because they're not trying to deceive you. So yes, they will talk to you. But generally, that's what they will do, is talk to you. These people had not Mr. Connor, Tim Day. We have Connor Betts, Tim Day. We have Patrick Crucis, I think that's his name. Those young men, they did not go and they did not talk to these people. They did not go. And then I hear when Lieutenant, let me get his wonderful name again in front of me, Mr. Lutman. When Mr. Lutman spoke of these, but let me read his quote. Let me read his quote. They will let you know one way or another their motives, intents, and that's when a community needs to respond. They will let you know one way or another their motives, intent, and this is when a community needs to respond. Well, I'm sorry, but these three men did not fit that. They didn't fit that criteria at all. They did not let you know of their motives. They did not let you know of their intent. As a matter of fact, as I shared with you before, when the family members of these individuals spoke to the news, they said they had no idea. They were shocked. These shooters didn't take, these shooters didn't talk. Again, I tell you, no one knew their intentions. They were not dressed unhealthy. Or I'm sorry, they did not appear to be unhealthy or poorly dressed. Please forgive me, I'm so nervous. I don't do this. They did not stagger in their walk. They were not pleading for attention. And why am I reading this, or why am I sharing this with you, is because generally people with mental illness, they do talk. They do talk to you. And their talk and their constant talking is their plea for attention. And usually they do, you know, a lot of them do lose weight. They do appear to be unhealthy, and they do have signs of mental illnesses. These guys did not have signs of mental illnesses. Yes, I did see where they went and they was able to pull out a sentence in a reading where they said one of the young men, one of the sentences reflecting on the young man could have suggested, because he kind of pulled away from people. But we're talking about people in our communities that are actually, conversating, talking. And I'm not saying ranting and raving. There's a difference in ranting and raving. First of all, ranting and raving is in a loud voice tone, and they're talking about nothing but angry stuff. And the reason I'm addressing this is because I don't want for the police department to think that by any means that we will excuse them for jumping on maybe our loved ones and family members that are probably temporarily intoxicated or temporarily have been drinking and just stressed out and frustrated. And so they're out there and, they're saying certain things, and now you have attacked them. Or that you actually do have someone with mental illness that's out there and they're talking and they're conversating. Because when this happens now, with those that have mental illness, when they're going through this process, they're talking, they're conversating. I have a brother, and with my brother doesn't yell. He's not screaming at anyone. He's not being overly animated. He's talking. He's talking. He's not, at the top of his voice carrying on. And I don't want you guys to confuse the two. You get an individual who has had a rough day and they're out there and, and they're drinking and they're stumbling about or whatever, and they're carrying on in their conversations or whatever. That's an individual having a bad day. Or as I have this associate that says, or it could potentially be, what did he say? Celebrating. And I think I still chose the word wrong, but could be drinking for whatever reason. And within his intoxication, he's, speaking or what have you, in a certain manner or whatever, not necessarily threatening. With having such an open target on mental illness or people with mental illnesses, having such an open target on them, that leaves room for, anyone to be able to say that they said anything and now you've attacked them. That's not okay. And then you put out, call us. If you see someone with mental illness, call us. No, not call you. You're law enforcement. Why are they calling law enforcement for someone with a mental illness? Why are they calling law enforcement? Why not call the churches? What happened to calling the churches? Aren't they the ones who deal with, sick people? Isn't that where they're supposed to go? Especially if they didn't go to the hospital, if they haven't made it to the hospital, shouldn't they be calling the church? As a matter of fact, let me see. Let's double check this, because I could be wrong. James 5:13 through 14. Is anyone among you suffering? Let him pray. Is anyone cheerful? Let him sing praise. Is anyone among you sick? Let him call for the elders of the church and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. Call the church. Pastors, churches, where are you? Where are you? Your community is suffering. People in your community is suffering. Are you volunteering your services? Are you going down to the police department? And if you're not, maybe you should consider it. Go down to the police department. Leave your church number. Leave your name and share with them. If you run into someone that is not carrying a weapon, that is not harming anyone, and you just need to get some help for them, I'm on call. Call me. Call me. And if I'm not in the middle of something, I'll come down. And you render service, you render aid to that person, to that individual. Because sometimes when you do that and you do it in a nurturing way, what happens is that person starts to confess to you what's going on with them in the coreness of them. And you get a chance to know exactly what they're taking to harm themselves or put them in the state of mind that they're in. And there's a possibility that you could actually truly end up saving them, giving them an opportunity to save themselves. So, and they can't do that behind somebody's bars. They can't. They can't do that behind somebody's jail. And people are so afraid of law enforcement right now. And I'm going to take a second to do this because I know that there's a lot of people that, that don't know me. And they probably believe that I hate the police. That is so far from the truth. I'm so sorry to tell you. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't hate the police. I don't hate the police. I love everything that the police stands for, except for injustice. Except for injustice. Because as a little girl, growing up, this is something that I looked forward to. This was something that I wanted to do in my community. I wanted to help my community to stay together. I wanted them to be in unity. I wanted there to be harmony, to be peace. But my thought and my image of it was different than what I see today. I see a father that I know, and especially with little small communities as El Dorado, I see a father that I know, and he's drunk. He's having a bad day because something at work could have went wrong, or something in the home may not be right. You know, fathers have bad days, and so they take a drink. My thought was that you go to that father and you talk to him and you let him know, you're doing wrong. This is not cool. You're out here in the community and you're not in a healthy state, and you're in a place where you can actually get yourself in a lot of trouble. You got a family back home. You got kids, man. Let's try and get you back home. Can you go back home? Is the wife okay with you? And you put him in the car and you take him to his wife. You take him to his home. And you ask her, is it okay? We've seen him outside here and he's been drinking. No, ma'am, he hasn't hurt anyone. Maybe, yeah, he said a couple of curse words to me. He talked to me sideways, but I know how that can be when you're angry and when you're not yourself. But is he okay to come back home? Oh, he is. Okay, so then, ma'am, I'm going to leave him in your care. Can you just make sure that he doesn't come back out today? Can you go put him in the bed, let him get some rest, and just, make sure he don't come back out today? Or you catch little Billy Bob in the store trying to pick up something. You know his parents. And maybe you don't know his parents. But geez, he's only 15 years old. Really? You can't remember that you have a 15-year-old at home that's going through their own challenges, and take a parenting moment out in your wonderful uniform, Presley as it may be, to say, you know what, come and do? And talk to him and share with him, this is not right. Find out what's going on with you. Why are you shoplifting? You're hungry. Okay. This is the wrong way to go about this. And I know shoplifting has been wrong for years. But look, if you're in fact hungry and there's no food at home, then let me give you my card. And what I'll do is, whenever you feel like you're hungry and you can't get food, call me and we'll see what we can do. And maybe it's that you just buy them a dollar burger. McDonald's have those. You know that, right? Maybe you can buy them a dollar burger at the moment. But if you teach them to feed itself, then that too will help them in the long run. So let them know, I may have a chore or two that I can find for you to do. And if I don't, then maybe I can find someone in the community that will have something for you to do so that you can earn you a couple of dollars or two. So you don't have to do this right here and get yourself in trouble and get yourself behind bars. And if you feel like it needs to be something a little deeper than that, where you do need to put them in the back of a car, don't put handcuffs on them, but put them in the back of the car. Take them over to the jailhouse. Show them where the real individuals who have truly earned their stripes for being there are. And let them know that this is where you're headed if you don't get it right. This is where you're going. To those mothers that are being drugged on the street because, maybe you feel like they're talking out of their heads. Or, that you feel like for whatever reason they're indifferent from you, or however their challenges are, or what they're going through. Same thing. If they are not hurting people, if they are not, excuse my phone, if they have not hurt an individual, you should really reconsider why you're putting them behind your bars. Because first of all, drugs and alcohol now seems to be right there in your market, right? Your marketplace, right? You're selling the very essence of what you're locking people up for. You're locking them up for boobs, and they're drinking boobs. And then when they get the boobs in their system, you're saying, okay, now you're being what? A nuisance to society? But Your community stores sold it to them. And now because we are in uniforms, we no longer look at children as though they are children. We no longer look at mothers as though they are mothers and fathers as though they are fathers. We no longer have a nurturing spirit. There's a lot of things that concerns me about the role that I wanted to be when I was younger. You go to a home where there's domestic violence, where a man is jumping on a woman, or, yes, ladies, women are jumping on men, and that's wrong. It's not okay. But you got a 95-pound woman out in the street being hit by a nunchuck or a gun or a fist in uniform, and that's okay. If I was the spouse of a police officer, I would be disappointed. I would be pissed. I'm sorry, I would be. Especially if I had to see it on the news. You're my husband. You're my husband. And I seen you kicking a woman, punching a woman, hitting a woman with a nunchuck. At what point did she no longer become, at what point was she no longer a woman? If I was a child and I seen you kicking or slamming the face of a child to a vehicle, to the street, I would ask you, Father, why? Father, why? That could have been me. As a child, it would not be okay. We are dehumanizing our people. We are forgetting that what hurts you, what would pain you, what would cause you to bleed, will cause the next person to be in pain, will cause the next person to bleed, will cause the next person to suffer. We are forgetting that these people too have families. These people too have a mother, have a father, have sisters and brothers, have children. We're no different. We're no different. If you were placing the nail in a dollhouse for your daughter and you hit your finger and you experienced that pain, do you think we wouldn't? We would feel it too. We would feel it. If while you were cooking, you accidentally cut your hand and you started to bleed, we would too. If we were cooking and we cut our hand, we would bleed too. It would hurt as equally much. We're no different. We are all the same. People with mental illness need our attention. They don't need law enforcement attention. They need our attention as a community. This is true. This is so true. But we do not need to put them out there with a target on them, where people are listening for just remotely any word that they could say and use it against them and be able to hurt them. I couldn't find for the life of me in the whole Walmart in El Dorado. I didn't even find where you guys actually had a suspect to where El Dorado needed to go and plead for a target to be on mental illness. You guys didn't have anybody, there was nobody, from my understanding, not from the video camera. So I didn't understand how you could profile anyone in regards to that situation. If I had to reach into the videos and be completely honest, no, I'm not going to say what the video said in regards to the shooters. If you want to know what the video said in regards to the shooters, go look it up. Go look at the videos and see how they describe the shooters. Look at the words in which they use to describe those shooters. Mental illness is a word that you guys are just tossing around in a terrible situation. It was a sad situation. It was horrific, malicious. But to put a target on our loved ones with mental illnesses and have people to look at them as though they are a threat, that's just a terroristic agenda within itself. Targeting people with mental illnesses, targeting people that may have temporary mental challenges because of being intoxicated. We have to be very aware of these differences, and you point out that you are aware of this. You said you're able to identify this by, through your conversation and through your writing to the media. If you're aware that you are speaking to someone with a mental illness, if you are aware of it, then, why not, suggest to the community, you know what? If you know that you have loved ones that are suffering from mental illnesses, as a matter of fact, I'll do it for you now. Family, if you guys know you have loved ones with mental illnesses, take a moment, write down a name and a number of an emergency contact, and put a little note in there that this person has mental illness concerns. If they haven't been diagnosed, then put it in there that they have mental illness concerns. Please contact me. If for any reason they're disturbing the peace, or for any reason that you find them out and you would just like them to just go home. Because some people, it doesn't require people to be out there doing anything. They could be laying on the street, minding their own business, sitting on a bench, minding their own business, laying in a wonderful park. They can be sitting there just talking to you. But you got an issue with that. You have a challenge with that. So if that is the case, then family, please go ahead and have a name and number of a contact for your family, your loved ones, where they can call you and say, you know what, we have such and such here. Can you please come and get them? They're at this here location. If they don't carry a wallet, put it in there, put it on the back of their shirt, on the inside of their shirt with a permanent marker. Get them a wristband or something that they can wear it on their arm. Because they're human, and they have the right to go, and they have the right to walk up and down the streets if they choose to. They have the right to come and go. They are not in prison, and they don't deserve to be in prison. But they do deserve to be taken care of properly. And so, please, add your name and number, emergency contact to your loved ones. So hopefully, if someone opens up a wallet and they see a note there, that they will call you, reach out to you, and let you come and get your loved one and take them back to safety. This is what you guys should be doing. Not taking them to jail. Not putting your wonderful hands on them because they say things that you don't agree with. Because there is a such thing as freedom of speech. I mean, and we can talk about that another day if you choose. Because I don't think everybody knows what they have the right to say. And so because they don't know, they say nothing. And saying nothing doesn't help. You have to say something. You have to have a voice. I'm really concerned about where the churches are that are supposed to be supporting their communities. I know that a lot of places now, a lot of churches are receiving stipends. And I know that those stipends come with your hands being tied behind your back. And they're robbing you of your voice. But if you can't stand for something, you can't stand in your community on the behalf of your church, and I say the church because the church is the people. Those are the ones that are suffering. Those are the ones that are showing up on your pew. Those are the ones that are going through, that are struggling in the community. If you cannot stand up for your people, for your neighbors, for your loved ones, for your community, because your stipend has a hold on you and has robbed you of your voice, then you have left your community to fall. You have left them in a place where they will fall, and they will fall hard at the hands of very few. I dreamed of El Dorado being a beautiful community where the parks are filled with children, not of one race. I'm not talking about you go to this town and there's one race of children here, and you go to the next town, part of town, and then there's another race there. No. See, when I was growing up, I played with the little white boys, the little white girls. I thought some of them was cute, yes. No, didn't date them, but, not saying they probably wouldn't have, but I had no problem talking to them, getting along with them, loving them. And some of us, we did crazy stuff together. It was some good laughter, fun times. But now you go down to El Dorado and people look at you. Oh my gosh, they stare at you like you're an alien. Stop staring at people, you guys. Stop it. I dare. I challenge, not dare. I challenge you guys to go out and speak to 5 people, just five, 5 people, and I don't mean the ones you work with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, well, you know what? Maybe that's an easy start. 5 people, officers included. 5 people of the opposite race, because I'm serious. I'm pushing unity big time. I'm pushing it. I'm from El Dorado. Yes, for those of you who don't know, I'm from El Dorado. Born and raised. Yep, so all this little personality, all of this sass, it came from El Dorado. So look to your neighbor and say, she got that from you. So, but I challenge you. I challenge you to go to 5 people, officers, yours, or people in the community, and try and do it to people that you don't know. But 5 people, speak to them. Speak to them. Take a picture with them. Put it up on Facebook. Show that your unity is real. Your desire for unity is real, because some people have no clue. They don't even know if you really want to talk to them. They don't even know if you really do want unity in your community. If you want unity in your community, then you show it. You do something that shows that you want unity there. So I'm just saying 5. 5 people, post them. I mean, it's blow my wall up with pictures of you speaking to someone else in your community where they have taken a picture with you and they were happy to. I can't believe that people are walking past hundreds of people each and every day and won't speak and won't say hey. Like it will kill you. It will hurt you. It won't kill you. It won't hurt you. As a matter of fact, it may even heal you. Maybe you'll realize just that one step that, this wasn't so bad. And then you do it again the next day. Well, you know what? Let me see if I can speak to 10 people. And then you do it the next day. I'm going to see if I can speak to 15 people. And before you know it, you are like, man, it's contagious. And yeah, you're going to get that one that just that looked like it just hurt them to speak to you, like it just hurt their core. But let me tell you something. You keep speaking. You keep speaking. And eventually, they're going to probably throw their hand up like real fast. It's okay. You got them. You broke them. They speaking. Yeah. Okay, I don't dance. But anyway, yes. That's how you bring togetherness in a community. You talk to each other. You speak to each other. You see something nice about the next person, you compliment them on it. You get more. Let me see, how did they say it? The old people used to say it. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. There you go. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. So you just keep being sweet. I mean, you just keep being sweet, no matter what. Yes, you're going to get some old schoolers that don't want to speak, but you keep speaking. I live in a community where, man, they are so awesome. They are so awesome. There's this one lady, when I first got back here, I didn't know anybody in the community that I live in. And so I would go and I would take my wonderful daughter to school. And every morning when I go and I drive up, this lady, she would speak, she'd just be waving, and I would speak back, I would wave back because it was a blessing. You hear me? It was a blessing to have someone to speak to me. And so, but I would wave back and I would think, when I pass her up, every single time, anytime I pass her up, I'm like, man, that was so awesome. She's like so adorable. She's so sweet. I can't believe she spoke to little old me, But it became one of those things that I look forward to when I drop my daughter off. You know, her being there. And she'd just speak every single freaking day, every single day. She would just speak. And yes, she's a white woman. And so one day I came and she wasn't there. And I kid you not, I prayed. I wanted her to be okay. I didn't know what was, what was in her way that day that kept her from being in the place that she normally was. But I prayed for her and I wanted her to be okay. The next day I came, she wasn't there. And I still prayed again. It was on my heart, heavy. The next day, same thing. She wasn't there. We had the weekend. I talked to my daughter about it. Well, have they said anything? Do you know her name? My daughter didn't know her name. She was a volunteer. And so the very next week, Monday, she wasn't there. Still praying for this lady. I'm praying for her. And so on Tuesday, I went. She was there. And she was just a waving again, just a waving. And I said, hi, beautiful. How are you? I missed you so much. And I was like, man, I said, you just don't know. I don't know anybody here in this community. Nobody at all. But oh my gosh, you bless me every day with your hello. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even speak to anyone other than my daughter because I don't see anybody else. I was like, wow, I'm so glad to see you again. She's like, it's good to see you too. She's like, I love to see you every morning. And that was awesome for me. Just a hello, you guys. You never know how healthy that is to the next person and how much it means to the next person. I mean, of course, now, by the end of the year, I was doing stuff in the school and everything. But, in the beginning, no. People are only strangers when you don't know them. When you start speaking to them, you start closing that gap of strangeness. I'm not saying go and be like everybody, because trust me, I am not like everybody. I am so not like everybody. I mean, I would speak to people till I'm blue in the face. You speak to me and we have a little conversation. I would give you a hug and give you some love because I want some love right back. And I'm going to take that love and I'm going to probably share it with somebody else down the street or, around the corner. So I'm not asking you to be like everybody. Not at all. But you keep singing the song that there's trouble in the community. What are you doing? How are you contributing to solving those issues, solving those concerns and those challenges? What are you doing? I know everybody, there's a lot of people, I'm not going to say everybody, there's a lot of people that's like, oh, I don't deal with no children. Woo! I love children. I love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. And I'm here to tell you, with a community like El Dorado and you not having a place for those babies to go, especially the teenagers. The children, they still got some room because their parents gonna take them anywhere they go anyway. But for those teenagers, if you don't have a place for those teenagers to go, everybody know an idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you don't have somewhere constructive for those children or those teenagers, those young people to be, yes, you're going to have havoc in the community. Because they don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know where to spend their time at. And you close down the skating rink, you close down the bowling alley. Where do you expect them to be? Except for in your streets. I mean, if you had a big old nice little facility that, maybe had a game room and then another one where they had pillows, lounge pillows for those who just want to talk, that just want a place to lay their head. Some kids, there's so much going on in the homes that they just want to go somewhere where they can sleep, where they can just lay down and just tune out the rest of the world. So if you have a room for that, or you have a place where a movie room. So you got a game room. Then you got a place where there's just a TV where people can go and sit up and watch movies. And then you got a place where if they want to take, just go and chill and relax, on some pillows and, sit up and just talk about the issues of today, the concerns of today, then they can do that. And maybe a quiet room for those who like to read and play board games. Then they can sit and they can play board games. And I'm not talking about, again, where it's separated, segregated. I'm talking about when you come together under the same roof, all these babies. Because if you bring them together and you teach them how to function together, when they go out in the community, they won't be at each other because now they have been brought together and they're treating each other with a lot of love and respect, and they know how to interact together. And you do need adults around young people so that you can hear what's being said, so you can hear how they're interacting with each other, and so that you can be there while it's going on. So hopefully you can stop it before it gets out of control, because now out of control is guns. Now out of control is the extreme. It's not, using hands anymore. It's not calling people bad names and going on about your business. It's a little bit deeper than that. Churches, communities, families. There's a lot of suffering that's going on. There's a lot of depression that's going on. There's a lot of pain that's going on that needs to be addressed. I know in the church we are too busy trying to keep up with the modern day music. I mean, this music is jumping, this music is popping, and the people in the church are, they wanting an upbeat. Well, let me tell you about that upbeat. That upbeat is not going to keep that heart in check. It's not going to keep that spirit in check. You have to talk about the suffering. You have to talk about the depression. You have to talk about the pain within your community. Because if you don't, then you leave room for suicide. And you leave room, and then suicide becomes an option when people feel like they're by themselves, when they feel like they are an isolated situation. They are an isolated individual dealing with this all by themselves, and everybody is just living. See, that's not the truth. People, family, I know you're suffering. I know you're struggling. I know you're hurting. I know you're in pain. I know you're crying at night. Oh, better yet, let me give you one better. Let me give you one better. I'm suffering. I'm hurting. I have nights I cry. No, I'm not suicidal. Thank you, Jesus. And I have been to church. I do go to church. And no, they have not talked about the suffering. They have not talked about the pain. They have not talked about the depression. These are dark places in people's lives that if you don't get help, that it gets darker. And yes, it do lead you to a place of suicide. So if you're able to recognize these emotional concerns in people, then you do something about it. That's what that high is for. Because you never know when you speak to someone that you're walking by and they was on their way to kill themselves and you just said hi and you changed their life because you saw them. A lot of people who take their lives feel like nobody sees them. Nobody knows that they exist. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to even trip if I'm gone anyway. But we do care. And we do trip. And we do realize that you're gone. So we don't want you to go. We want you to stick around. So when you see someone walking past you, doesn't matter how different they look, fat, skinny, cute, cutely challenged, short, tall, purple, orange, young, old. Speak, 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 speak. You don't know whose life you can change. Speak. It's so funny. This was supposed to have been about helping those with mental illness in our communities and removing the target off of them. Helping those with mental dysfunctions in our communities, whether it's temporary or whether it's just that it's a long-term illness. Removing the target off of them, the threat against their lives. I want nothing for El Dorado but positive things. I want El Dorado to be my dream. I want to see the unity. I want El Dorado to be exactly what I thought it was going to be when I was growing up. When I thought you could walk down the street. I used to break bread with white people when I was growing up. A couple of times out of the week, the Lauderdales. Yep. Used to go to the Vaughn's house, back and forth. There was days my mom would cook, and there was days when Cindy Lauderdale, JP Lauderdale, hey, when they would cook. They would eat at our house, we would eat at their homes. We played games together. Good times. Life is too short to sit in a house and be miserable. Life is too short to be afraid to walk the street. And I get it. Police misconduct is real. It's real. that the only way you can change it is that you're going to have to take an active voice in your community. And I'm not saying fight them. That's not what I'm saying. And I need you to know that all police officers are not bad. I know some really, really good police officers. Some really, really cool folks. Really cool folks. They're not all bad. There's a couple of them, unfortunately, that need Jesus, need prayer. And that's what you got to do as a community. You have to pray. They say a family that prays together stays together. Pray, pray, pray. And if you notice things, you got to use your voice. Speak up. Speak up. And if you know that you have people that are speaking up, then you have to stand up. Because if you don't stand up, then you'll fall for anything. You got to stand for something. You guys, I'm going to get off of this. I'm surprised my heart is not racing anymore. I have no clue what I've said. But I hope that I said something that helped somebody. I don't know how to use this. I see where it says like comments. Oh, okay. Let me see if I don't know how to do this. Okay. Oh wow. Um. Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Good morning. Good morning, Clifford. Good morning, Shar. Thanks, Tasia. Hi, honey. Hi, Pie. I'm from El Dorado as well. Hi, Marcus. Oh my gosh. Hi, Sammy. Hello, beautiful. I miss you. Oh, Wendy. Hi, beautiful. I miss you a lot too. You guys, if you guys have any questions for me, like I said, it's my first time ever doing this. Can't really say if I enjoyed it or not. It's just not been my thing. I know I rambled a lot. Please forgive me. Um, I had I had notes. I didn't use them, as you see. I had so many notes, but it kind of went in its own way. So, unfortunately, I guess I'll hear later how the thoughts in regards to this. It is what it is. It is what it is. You guys, I'm going to end this. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm still praying for you, El Dorado. And I know some of you feel like we don't need a change. I went through some things in the last couple of years that I had to witness through my journey and being back in El Dorado. And I'm here to tell you, to the one that's saying you don't need a change, yes, love, El Dorado needs a change. Be blessed.